Hello and welcome to another episode. I am your host, Sean Calhoun. My beautiful wife, Christina, is not here with us today, but hopefully she'll be back with us real soon. Today, we are actually talking about part two of crafting a winning offer. And if you don't know, now you know, in a seller's market, you really this becomes so important, being able to put together an offer that's going to win. How do you do it? Listen up for part two. Now, if you need to get in touch with us, it's real easy. On Facebook, you can reach us at the handle Sean Christina Calhoun, and Instagram. It's that simple. Or if you want to search for houses, see how much your house is worth, or reach out to us for more training, you can go to prettyhm.com. That's prettyhm.com for Pretty Home Realty. Let's go. All right. So we're talking about crafting that offer. This is part two. So in the last episode, we were talking about why you need to know how to craft this offer. And it's because you don't want to get beat out. When you put in a bid for your client, or if you are someone who wants to be a homeowner, you want to win. So we talked about how we should view it. We view it as if we're trying to get a job, and we want to show ourselves to be the best. We are the most qualified to get this job. Okay. So that's what we want to do, right? I'm getting the job. That's what we want to do. We talked about the preparation before the offer, right? Calling the selling agent and seeing what terms uh, the seller needs. Do they need to stay in the home? Do they need 30 days? Blah, blah, blah. And we talked about price, uh, right? We talked about price. What's the highest offer that you have so far? So this is all the preparation that goes in before. And there's some other things, but you can go back and check out that episode on price. And today, Christina has given me water ahead of time, so I try not to choke on camera today. All right. So we got the preparation done, and we gave that illustration before a paint job was done. I watched this guy paint my garage. He sanded it down, and then he primed it, caulked it, and painted it, and it looked like new. It looked beautiful. And so we talked about that prep work of the sanding down. Now we're talking about that prime and that paint. Okay. So in crafting and putting that offer together, you want to actually come in with a strong price. And when I say strong, I mean strong enough to get it, but not overshooting for your client. That's why it's critical to see where you need to be. Now, you can't, the agent on the other side does not always give you that information. So if you don't have that information, what do? It's easy. It's scientific, my friend. You can actually look in the MLS, in your multiple listing service. There's so much data, right? You can look and see what homes in that area have sold for. And what I mean about that is not what they've sold for, meaning the comps. What I mean is look at the data trends, okay? If you look at the data trends, you can see the percentage over or the percentage under on average that the homes are selling for in that area. So again, if you can't get that information from the agent, you can actually scientifically check it out. And it's in your statistics. If you look on the MLM, just look at stats, okay? And you can do a stats report. It's similar to running comps, but when you look at the stats, you want to look for the sales price. And that sales price statistic will tell you, man, this is gold right here. If you use this, it's your clients are going to think you're pretty amazing. But it's going to tell you exactly the trends. Now, the only thing is, and I want you to know, it is running about 30 days behind. So you will be looking at last month's trends. But that's good enough. That's close enough to get. So that's what it's set to. You can actually change those dates and bring it all the way up to the current date. But it's defaulted set to last month. So make sure you change that so you can see the current up to today. Okay. So now you're going to have a really good idea of where you should come in with your price. Okay. And then again, if you can't call and get the information for the terms, now you're going to have to go with your gut. But your gut, which is your feeling, has to be trained. It's kind of like a conscience, right? If your conscience isn't trained, it's not a good guide. It's kind of like a compass. If you have a compass and there's a magnet or it's not calibrated, that compass isn't any good. But if it's calibrated correctly and there are no strong magnets to pull it off course, then that magnet is going to be your guide and that's going to be your gut. So, how do you train your gut for terms? Well, one of the terms is going to be really easy. When you were at the house, were was there a lot of things there? Did it look like the person is not packed up? They need time. If it looks like they need time, and it's possible, and it's in the best interest of your client, give them some time. Give them 30 days. Let them have that days after closing to move. Those terms might win you that offer. Okay. Now, that's just one part of the term. Okay. Another part of the terms is an inspection period. If you can uh, have that property inspected, if you have a good relationship, that's why it's imperative to have good relationships. Your network is your net worth. If you have a good relationship with an inspector and they may be able to put you in really close and tight time schedules, you might call them ahead like, hey, look, there's a really nice home, but we're on a tight time frame. Can you possibly inspect this in the next 2 or 3 days? If they have a cancellation or whatever, if they say yes, now you can do better terms. Instead of putting 5, 10, or 7 days for inspection, you can put 2 days. Why would someone take that offer? Well, think about if you were the seller. If you were the seller and you were thinking, wow, these offers are equal, except this one only has a 2-day inspection period, and this one has a 10 days, which means I would have to pull my house off of the market for 10 days until you say yay or nay. And this one is only 2 days. Well, let's go with this one. It's only 2 days off the market, and if they don't want it, we'll go right back. That term could really help you a lot. Okay, the next one, earnest money deposit. This one is huge. How much skin does your client have in the game? Your client is you. You represent them. How much skin do you have in the game on this offer? Again, if you're a seller, you have 10 offers, sometimes 20 in a competitive market. One person, or most people say they're putting down $2,000, $1,000 earnest money deposit. And then you have a whopping whatever, $10,000 down. Okay. That's going to really stand out as a serious buyer. But now, if you think about it, that's going to go towards their closing costs anyway. They're going to have to come up with that money at closing, and they need to have that money already. So why not use that now, putting it with your earnest money deposit and win and actually have a chance at closing on that property? This makes sense, right? That is another term that is going to strengthen your offer. Some other terms that are really popular are another clause is, the disclosure, obviously going through that you have already, your client has already looked at the disclosure. Okay, because if they have not looked at the disclosure, they check that off. That little tick of checking off that they haven't looked at the disclosure changes the whole offer, changes the dynamics. So making sure that they've looked at that disclosure ahead of time and just checking that off, that is going to actually be a stronger term. A very small one, but it could be very strong if you're in a super competitive market. Some other terms that you might want to look at. Let's see, what do we have here? We have the disclosure. Oh, lead based. That's also, are you getting an inspection? That sort of thing. And then some of the other terms that are going to make you rock solid strong. Now, FHA, conventional, and then let's say FHA, conventional, or maybe cash. Those are the general. You have VAs, you have farmer, you have all kind of different loans, but these are the most common, right? If you can do cash, obviously that's the strongest, right? But let's just say you can't, or you don't want to. So that's off the table. Conventional or FHA. Most sellers, in their view, they're going to view conventional as stronger than a FHA loan. So obviously, if you can do conventional, that will be better. Now, that's going to be really important depending on, again, your network. What do I mean by that? Your lender relationship. I'll give you a quick example. We had a client, and the client, their credit score, they went through the lender. They told us the credit score and things like that. But we have a lender who is so good, he was able to take a look at not only their credit score, but at their credit history and give them a few things that they could pay off and change their income to debt ratio, which boosted their credit score, which allows them to get a better loan. A better loan makes them a more qualified person, which will in turn make their offer stronger. All right, you put all of this together in your offer. That's packaged. I'm mentally just kind of going through these kind of line by line. These are some of the terms that are on the offer that you need to be thinking about to make this strong. But how do you explain this to your client? Well, you want to just make sure that you let them know the same thing. This is kind of like a interview, and we want to be the strongest. One other tool that we use, and we don't use this all the time, but it really depends. But another tool that you can use that's really strong is a letter. A letter. And this is not you writing a letter. This is your buyer writing a letter directly to the seller. And what are they asking? They're asking in that letter, please accept my offer. Why should they accept this offer? Well, there's a couple of things that we've noticed in letters that sometimes there have been higher offers, but they've accepted a lower price offer, and the letter may have been part of the reason why. So part of the reasons why is they may say how much they really love the home, how much they appreciate the things that the person has done to the home. Very complimentary, and that they would enjoy living at the home. That's powerful. I mean, think about it. Have you ever, I don't know if you have, but if you had an old car, I remember I had an old car I was getting rid of. I was just tired of the car. I had two cars. I'm like, you know what? I'm ready to get rid of this car, right? It's not even my style anymore, right? I was selling the car, and this couple came by, and I let them test drive the car. They test drove it. It looked like the old school Toyota commercial, like they jumped up, like they were hugging and they were so happy. I was like, wow, I don't even care about this car, but it made me. I was so happy that they had the car because they appreciated it and wanted it so much. You want to convey those same feelings from well, your seller wants to convey those same feelings. Your buyer wants to convey those same feelings to the home seller. Okay, and a lot of times that's really strong because we're humans as well. That doesn't always apply with a institution. Maybe if it's maybe a HUD home or a bank. So again, you have to know when to do that and when not to. But putting these things together, I can't go into every possible scenario, every possible detail, but putting these things together is going to give you a strong winning opportunity, especially in a competitive market. So I hope you've gotten some value from this, and I hope you really use this. Don't just listen to it. So many times we all have gotten valuable information and we didn't apply it. But when you apply this, you're going to see more of your offers are going to get accepted. You're going to have happier clients and you are going to have more money in your pocket. All right. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Listen, we will see you on the next episode. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. And hey, we'll see you then.